Good afternoon. I'd like to call this meeting of the City Council of Eureka Springs to order for March the 28th, 2016. Mayor Barry is not here tonight. My name is David Mitchell, the alderman, and I'm subbing for him in case anybody's questioning that. Madam Clerk, would you establish the roll call, please, ma'am?
Bob Thomas?
Here.
Mickey Snyder? Here. Terry McClung?
Yes.
Frank Zeller? Here. James DeVito?
Here.
David Mitchell?
Here.
We have 6.
Time for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Could I get a motion for approval of the agenda, please?
So moved. Second.
Are there any additions or anything to the agenda at this time that somebody would like to make? Very good. Roll call or just a voice for approval?
Move to approve. Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Aye.
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 Aye. You coach me now, help. Approval of the minutes, motion to discuss.
So moved.
Second. Motion to approve. Minutes.
Need a second, somebody.
Second.
Approval by voice. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Minutes approved. It's now time for the Commission Committee Authority Reports and expired terms. At this time, I need to announce for the public that Ed Leswick, a longtime member of the Planning Committee, passed away last night. And this Wednesday at St. Elizabeth's Parish on Passion Play Road, there will be a memorial service for him.
Do we have a time?
At 10 o'clock, yeah. Madam Clerk said 10 o'clock. She's
10
received.
a.m.?
Ma'am?
10 a.m.?
Yes, ma'am. St. Elizabeth's. CAPC, would any of our 2 council members have anything they want to add at this time?
Nothing to report. We're
Okay.
looking to purchase a digital projector, and we seem to be of consensus at the CAPC, so we're looking forward to showing movies at the theater or at the auditorium, and they maybe not right hot off the press, but good quality movies, still first-run movies.
Good, good.
We have, most everybody knows, I'm sure, is that we did hire an activities festival
yes.
person to oversee and ramrod, kind of like Kim was doing before she jumped ship and came to the city.
Okay.
So
That's great.
we're working on it.
Thank you.
Who did you hire? Who did you hire? A new person or somebody internally, or?
It's a secret.
Oh. Okay.
Kansas?
Okay.
She's been here a couple of years.
Yeah.
Oh, well, okay. Okay, so they wanted the chamber, and
I can't remember her name.
What? So? Well, gee.
Dory. Her name's Dory.
Why are we meeting?
Okay. It's not. There's not the
Dory
same
Zombie.
person as the chamber
Dory
was hired.
Zombie.
Then it's 2 different people. Okay.
That's not correct. I'm kidding. Her first name is Dory. There you go.
Thank you for that update. The hospital, we needed to vote on the application for Barbara Dix. I believe that was presented last time. Can I get a motion?
The nomination of Barbara Dix for the Hospital Commission.
I'll second that.
Okay. All in favor say aye.
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 Thank you, Barbara, for volunteering for the Hospital Commission. It's appreciated. We're now up to Parks and the introduction of Justin Huss and a commission update. And then after that, we'll vote on the application from Barry Reed, if that's okay. So I would, at this point, if Mr. Featherston would honor us with his presence at the microphone.
Donna Woods is no longer our interim director at Parks, but I'm very pleased to announce what most of you, I think, already know, we do have a new director on board, feet on the ground, boots on the ground. And he hails from Jonesboro, Arkansas, originally from St. Louis, Missouri. Most recently was at Lake Frierson Park, which is one of our state parks here in Arkansas. And he was with our state park system for 7 years. Am I getting all this right, Justin? Right. Good. And his name is Justin Huss, and I'd like for him to come forward now.
All right.
Thank you, Chairman Featherstone, and everyone present. I felt welcome at every turn since we've been here. Really excited about our future with parks and all the great future we have, great plans, great facilities, and really to get right to work this week. So I appreciate everybody having me and the welcome, and we're excited.
Thank you very much.
Glad to have you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
And if I could just say one more word.
Go ahead, sir. Go ahead, go.
I do want to thank Donna Woods for what ended up being 9 months of service. She signed up for 7, ended up being 9. And
She's still on your board, is she? Is she still a commissioner? Or?
No, she was never a
she
was never a commissioner. She was our bookkeeper for 4 years.
Oh.
And then retired, and then unretired, and now she's retired again. And very much looking forward to it. But she did so much for us in 9 months. The last 2 months were probably her best 2 months. Those add-on months, and so we have a lot to be grateful for as far as Donna goes. I have every hope that Justin will continue that trend. He's got the credentials, and if there's one thing I could say about Justin more than anything else, he really wants to live in Eureka Springs. And I find that
Admirable.
quite refreshing. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. He and his wife and his family are very excited to be here, and we're excited to have him. So I hope you guys get to know him real well in the coming years. And as far as the commission report goes, you've got one in hand?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Do I need to speak to it? Any questions?
Did the paper get this so the public gets it eventually, or is this not a public thing?
That is a public thing.
Thank you.
And I believe both papers have gotten that.
Yeah.
The State of Parks.
Oh,
Yeah.
good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Any questions, just direct them to me or Justin.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. Appreciate it. And welcome, Justin.
Thank you. Thank you.
We appreciate you here. If there's no other comments for Bill or Justin at this time, I'll take a motion on the application from Barry Reed.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
All right.
Aye. Thank you, Barry Reed, for joining your group. Cemetery. Position 1 is vacant, expired on 2/15. We have an application, or I believe you have one in your boxes, that from Bob Thomas, that has, as a temporary commissioner, the mayor has cleared that with the Municipal League attorneys, and everything is in order, and they feel comfortable with it. And if we could, yes, sir.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve Bob Thomas for Cemetery Commission.
I'll second that.
I think it's time to ask for all in favor.
All right.
Aye.
Thank you, Bob, very much. That is very appreciated. There's a new vacancy, position number 3, that expired on 2/15 also. So we now have 2 vacancies. So I guess Bob's going to have to do double duty.
I'll be back to apply next week for the other one.
Okay, thank you.
I thought we just put Yip in last meeting. Does that mean there were 3 total?
I guess
I
so.
thought there was 2.
There were actually 4.
We had 0.
Okay.
There were 4 openings.
Oh,
Okay.
well, Bob, then we definitely should say thank you to you, sir. A big
And there
thank
were
you.
2.
There was 4, then there was 2, and then we added Bob.
Now there's 2.
Excellent. Are there any public comments, ma'am?
Oh, okay.
Gee, are there any perks with that cemetery commission, like a free plot or something?
There are no public comments for tonight's meeting.
Thank you.
Following the agenda There is also no unfinished business, which takes us right to new business. And if we all look at the clock, this could be a record. Discussion of one Parks Commission seat open to county resident. I'll take a motion to open that, please.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. At this time, I do believe Mr. Bill wants to come back to the microphone, I would suspect.
This is pretty self-explanatory. As is the case with a lot of our city commissions, we had a vacancy for quite some time on parks. I forget how long it was, but there was a single vacancy for a long time. And this is an attempt to perhaps enable us to avoid that in the future. You know, we have 2,000 people in town, somewhere about 2 to 3 times that live outside the city limits in the Western District of Carroll County. And many of those people are as enthusiastic and supportive of parks as those that are inside the city limits. And that's not a knock on the residents of the city of Eureka. And we have many of them that serve on committees and volunteer in other ways and would love to sit on a commission if given the opportunity. So if you increase the size of the pool that you can draw from to fill these commission positions, you just increase the chances of having a full commission at all times, which is kind of preferable and actually essential at times, because most of us are working people with busy schedules and have to miss meetings from time to time. So that's really what it is, and it's an ask for anywhere from 1 to 3 positions to be at-large positions, which means they could still be filled by people inside the city limits, but they're open to anybody outside the city limits on the western side of the county. Yes.
How many do you have commissioners? You have
7 commissioners.
7 total?
Yes. Quorum of 4.
The new business says discussion of one Parks Commission seat open, but are you requesting more than one?
We have not, I don't know that we have formally made a recommendation to you. The request is for 1 to 3. I'd be happy with 1, personally. Yes.
So this is in keeping, I'm sure it's in keeping with the state guidelines as
It
far
is.
as the parks?
Yes.
So there's really nothing we have to do as a council other than approve whoever, comes before us. And unless there's
Yeah, we have-
anything written in our municipal code about...
There is. The enabling legislation that you guys passed to form the Parks Commission specifies that
Okay.
all commissioners have to live within the city limits.
Yeah.
State statute allows for commissioners to be outside the city limits.
Yeah, we have to change our local law to make it approvable.
You're requesting how many? Just 1 at this time, or
I'd be happy with 1.
why don't we, if we're going to go to the effort
Yeah.
to, you have a 7-member commission, 3 could be in county and 4 in city. Who knows?
2 is better than 1 and 3 is better than 2.
Who knows 5 years down the road? I hate to pass up somebody who's eminently qualified who just happens to live 5 feet out of the city limits.
Well, and I agree with you, 100%. There are some incredibly competent people outside the city limits. I'm not telling you anything you guys don't already know.
I'd be comfortable with 3. I mean, that always leaves the option open if for some unknown reason we find ourselves bereft of people willing to do it.
I would be happy with that as long as it didn't. The condition wasn't they had to live outside the city limits.
No.
Okay.
Either or.
Okay.
Mr. McClung?
I'd like to make a motion that an ordinance is drafted, because apparently that's what it takes, that we allow 3 of the positions on Parks Commission to reside outside the city limits. They may reside outside the city limits, but must reside in at least Western
county.
District of
Western
Carroll.
District.
The Western District, okay.
Correct. I'll second that motion.
Excellent.
Is there any more discussion by any chance?
more thing.
Oh, yes.
Mhm.
Can you guys draft that so we don't have to have the city attorney do that?
Is the city attorney going to have to look at it anyway?
Yes.
He's going to have to look at it. He's going to
We might as well start with him then.
It seems pretty slam dunk.
Yeah, that shouldn't be difficult, but I don't want to speak for
Well,
Tim.
no, I'm not saying he's not capable.
Yeah.
That's not
Trying to save a nickel, aren't you?
Absolutely, that's what I'm trying to do.
We just
We
got out of that
could,
workshop.
we could probably provide something rough, but I'm quite certain that Tim would want to,
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, he's
Yeah.
got to go over it and make
Yeah.
sure it's suitable.
Well, you know, if we wanted to save money, we can also have him review it here at the meeting, and then he can't charge us.
It's probably only a sentence that has to be changed.
We have to tease him a little bit, guys.
we'll provide a rough draft if that
That would
meets
help.
your liking.
That would help.
And then he can rip it up and write his own.
Okay. Do we have any? Yes, Justin Thomas.
I understand seats are hard to fill. I know a lot of people don't really like any of the commissions because it separates them from the people that are
Voters.
running their business. So, you know, now we've got the fact that citizens can't really complain to their government about what a commission's doing because the commission doesn't, you know, the government has no authority over the commission. And now you're talking about citizens paying to have a service in the city, but you're wanting to let people from outside the city make a decision as to what those services will be. That,
You lost me.
Yeah, me too.
I lost it.
Who's getting paid?
Parks is supported by taxes, right?
Yeah.
Okay, who pays
From
the
anybody,
taxes?
from sale taxes.
So-
Correct.
Yeah.
It's what?
Sales
Our
taxes.
our
But
main
only
source of
within the
revenue
city.
is a 1/4%
From anybody who
sales and
buys
use
supplies
tax
in-
Right.
citywide,
In the city, yeah.
but it's not just residents that pay that.
Well,
And in fact,
It's
our
true.
visitors are paying over 90% of that.
Right, I know,
Yeah.
I hear that.
Yeah.
But everything we talk about, the tourists pay for. That's always pointed out. But, you know, parks is here for tourists, but it's also here for the residents of the city.
Don't argue that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
And-
we get an awful lot of surrounding area people too, like for the trails and everything else. We're talking Berryville, Green Forest, all of those areas. That's all part of Carroll
I
County.
understand that. But, you know, the people from all over use the auditorium, the people from all over use the cemetery, the people from all over use, you know, if you look at every commission, the users...
And in fact, I think your cemetery commission does allow this already.
Correct.
If there's not a citizen, or Eureka
Yeah, we
Spring
can-
And the,
Commission.
and the hospital.
also-
And the CAPC as well.
And the
So it's not
hospital.
like this is not entirely new ground.
And if they don't,
And the hospital.
they can
Yeah.
get their little bucks
So-
on there.
Okay, well, that's, all I want to do is express
And
my
I-
concern.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not telling you anything.
Right.
You guys get the final say on who
Uh-huh.
fills these positions anyway.
Right.
So if it's somebody from outside the area that you're not comfortable with because of whatever, you know, you get the final say.
I think I was comfortable when I read one, but then when you started talking about three, I began to get uncomfortable with that.
And I can see that point. Luckily,
We
if
can go
everybody,
too.
if everybody's at the council meeting, there's still a 4-3.
If they're all present, yeah.
If they're all
This
present.
allows us the latitude in worst-case scenarios, and we've been here before. We just mentioned the fact that we had a commission with no commissioners. And that can very easily, I mean, Phil's talking about a seat that's been vacant for well over a year. And it wouldn't be the first time, you know, that we've had 2-3 commissioners. The more heads working on an issue, the better the results are.
No doubt.
And to deny the ability of somebody that's eminently qualified, that has a wealth of knowledge regarding parks, I feel it's in the best interest of the community as a whole that we take advantage of a situation like that. This in no way says that we're going to immediately appoint 3 out-of-city commissioners. It's just there so that we don't have to pass another ordinance at another time because we have 3 parks commissioners and they don't even have a quorum. I think it utilizes the best possible outcome for the city. And as Bill pointed out, we get the yay or nay on who these people are.
That's right. I agree with everything that James has said, if you'll allow me. I'm sorry.
Yes, sir. Keep
Okay.
going.
But, you know, our ex-interim director lives outside the city limits. I think most of our current staff at Parks lives outside the city limits. Most of our committee members live outside the city limits, and that's been the case for as long as I can remember. So we get a lot of great input at parks from people who don't live inside the city limits. And I've never known it to be an issue as far as them not representing what the residents want. And yes, the commission is driven by the majority will of residents. That's the way it is and should be. But like most things that we do here in the city, it doesn't just involve residents, because we have so many business owners outside of town and so many people who spend a lot of money in town who live outside of town. And of course there's the visitor component that really fuels our engine. But
if anybody that is watching this tonight has any desire, now's the time, especially if you're from within the city, to step up to the plate. There's some vacancies, and I am sure that this council table would be very pleased, as would Parks, to start receiving some applications. So let's get moving.
Let's take a vote.
Ma'am?
Terry's motion for 3 positions.
I have been directed to take a vote.
No, I'm asking.
She is asking, but she's helping me, and I appreciate it. Is that require, sir, a roll call, or is that a voice?
This is the voice.
It's a voice. All in favor, say aye.
Would you restate the motion?
Oh, yes, sir. Restate the motion, please, ma'am.
A motion for an ordinance to be drawn up to have 3 positions from the Western District of Carroll County.
Wasn't it supposed to be and/or from Western, from with the city and/or the Western, wasn't it? I'm sorry.
That they can reside outside the city limits,
Or in, yeah.
but must be in the Western
Yes, ma'am, however you
District.
want.
May.
Yeah,
May.
You get it, don't you?
yeah, they may reside outside the city limits, but they must be in the from the Western District.
You gotta ask him. He's gotta draft it.
I didn't use the word may, and
that's my
Terry did.
understanding.
Okay. Are you
My
comfortable?
apology.
No, that's fine. That's why we're all sitting here.
Up to 3 positions.
3 at-large positions from the Western District. Of course, that includes
And/or the city.
the Eureka Springs.
Yeah.
And we'll word it that way where it's very clear. Yeah.
Okay. And then it has to come here, so...
That's it.
And see the attorney.
You get the final say.
So if
Yep.
you can make it past Tim, we got it made.
Excuse me, did you use the word at large?
I don't believe he did.
I might have said kind of large, but I don't remember.
I'm going to stick with your wording.
Right.
Is everybody, are you, Bob, are you okay with that?
Oh, I'm going to vote. No, I'm not going to support 3 positions.
Okay, but I mean, the motion as it was written, you understand?
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to be
understand the
sure.
motion, yeah.
Okay, sir. I didn't want anybody to
Yeah.
be off base. At this point, then it's time to, all in favor, say aye.
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 I'm hesitating because I'd like to also, but
All that are opposed, nay.
Nay.
Okay.
I voted aye. I wanted to pass, but I'd be happier with 2. saying.
So is yours a nay too? Is that 2 nays?
It was a yes.
Oh, it's an aye. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I didn't catch that. Okay.
Yeah, because I wanted to pass. It needs to pass.
Okay.
It may never happen that it's more than 1.
Why not?
You have to come to this table. Remember that.
That's why I went.
Are you okay?
That's
You okay,
very
sir?
helpful.
Did we do what you wanted? You're happy with
Yes,
us now?
yes.
Okay.
My heroes.
There is no other additional new business to discuss at this time, so we can establish agenda setting for the next meeting. Let's go around the table, and let's start with Joyce.
I don't have anything.
Ms. Snyder. Mr. DeVito. Mr. McClung, sir.
No, I think all I need is, we got a workshop coming up, right? But that's in April. Yeah, okay.
I forgot what that workshop's on.
Food trucks.
Thank you. That's right.
What's the date of the next meeting? April?
April 11th.
April 11th, okay.
Okay. And when is the workshop meeting?
4
Yeah.
p.m.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I got
Okay. Oh,
down.
that day too. Okay. Mr. Thomas, sir.
Yes. Nothing.
And our attorney obviously doesn't want to add anything at this time. And Madam Clerk, so we have the agenda set for next time. I don't think we have to, do we have to vote on that? Al?
No.
We leave it open, okay. City Council comments. I'll go the opposite direction. Mr. Thomas.
No, I have no comments.
Mr. McClung, sir.
No.
Mr. DeVito, sir.
I'd just like to remind everybody that coming up the second Saturday of April in Basin Park, a free concert. The legendary blues artist John Hammond will be performing. 7-time Grammy nominated. He's won at least one Grammy, I think maybe probably more than that, to my knowledge. Inducted into the Blues Hall of Fame. If anybody remembers, 20 years ago when he played in the park for free, it was just a magical moment, and I'm sure he'll bring that with him this time. It's going to be something you really don't want to miss, and that's 5 o'clock, the second Saturday in April, John Hammond, and it's a free concert, and that's sponsored by the CAPC.
Thank you, Mr. DeVito. Ms. Snyder, ma'am.
Actually, nothing.
That's as good as a short meeting.
I know it.
Ms.
It's
Joyce.
amazing. No, I don't have anything.
Wow. At this time, then, we'll go ahead and do the mayor's comments for Mr. Berry. Upcoming events on April the 1st through the 3rd is Diversity Weekend. It's all day and evening at Basin Park with various different other locations. I'm sure there's plenty of advertising out there in the papers and or various other locations to keep up with all the activities. On April the 15th and 16th is Carving in the Ozarks again from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. in the Victorian Inn parking lot. That's always an interesting event. And on April the 14th through the 17th of this year is Springtime in the Ozarks. It's all day and evening. It's at the Convention Center and the Auditorium. Those are the 3 upcoming events that I'm aware of, plus the one that Mr. DeVito asked for at this time. At this time, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Second.
We got to vote.
20. Oh, we have to vote?
Aye.
Oh, aye.
Aye.
29.